All right, guys, I thought I'd take a minute to talk about my build plan. What is going to happen here? We're coming up October really soon, and that's the beginning of my build season. So summer, I want to focus on racing, keeping the race boat running, doing repairs, all that kind of stuff. Come fall and winter, that is when I start to do my builds. So we're going to talk about that. This is not going to be a very long video, kind of short, but there's a lot going on at Jolly Rogers Racing and a lot to try to explain on what's happening. So let's get into the details. So I apologize for the darkness here. I've got stuff kind of scattered everywhere. So this is the 146, the boat we've been running all summer long. And this is in the Group A, A400 class, about 408 cubic inch with a 8.5 inch pump. And that's the boat Nicole and I have been tag teaming, and most of our content has been coming from that boat. This boat over here is the empty hull of my old 907, which was a twin turbo, and now I'm building having built down in Australia by JRE Race Engines down there, a 500 cubic inch small block, naturally aspirated mechanical injection with Engler, and by JRE, and it's going to be a beast. So this boat was made for the twin turbos, and it is actually going to not be twin turbos anymore. This is actually going to become a 400 boat. So let me explain that. So the 146 over here I just showed you, that has a pretty solid engine in it, and it's been doing well. But like I've been alluding to all summer, I cannot catch Phil Miller. Nicole can't catch Phil Miller. And or now Leighton Lilly with his other Sprint Tech and a beast of a 400 motor. So we have to step up our game. So we are trying to get rid of that engine and upgrading to a more powerful 400 motor. So Benny and Monty of Monty's Engines down in Oregon, they are building us a new 400 motor for that boat. So we got to do something with that motor. So enter the old 907. So my neighbor Chris, I sold him a full boat. He's going to get that motor, and roll cage and seats and everything are going to go into this boat. Okay, so that is going to be a new 400 boat, completely new to the fleet, completely new to the sport, and completely new to Jolly Roger. So that's step one, is that stuff after this race on Saturday is going into this boat. So that leaves us with the 146. What do we do with that? So like I said, we have a new engine being built, and a new pump is en route from New Zealand, or it's actually being made in New Zealand. So that is going to take care of that. All I got to do is, once I get the engine from Benny, I do have to build a new roll cage and get some new seats for that boat, but that hull is going to stay the same. So what about the Superboat? What about my original 907 with the 500 cubic inch small block that I'm having built by JRE? Well, enter what I just got back from picking up. So here are two brand new bottom plates. I'll explain why I have two here in a second. But these are going to be two new Superboat bottoms, or super boats, if you will. So you can kind of see how these things are made. If you followed any of my builds on the mini boats, very similar. This is a one-piece bottom, super secret sauce on the shape and everything of the Delta and the dead rise and everything like that. That and specifically this bow transition is kind of where the magic happens in these boats. So this is going to be the 907 with a 500 cubic inch small block. And the pump that I did the little pump demo on, or tear down on the bench, that is going to be the 907's pump with the 500 cubic motor, and that plate of aluminum is going to turn into that boat. It is going to look not so much like this, but it's going to look more like the 146 with the very low sides and the carbon fiber uppers to keep the weight down, because that motor honestly is, it's going to be a beast, 950-ish horsepower. But some of those super boats like Kyle Patrick's, those guys are up 1,500 horsepower with their twin turbos or superchargers and everything like that. So my theory, or what I'm going after, is smaller, simpler, lighter weight and quicker and more nimble. So that's how I'm going to, that's the package that I'm putting together. I'm spotting them about 500 horsepower or more in some cases, but sometimes that becomes undrivable. So that is how I'm going about that. Okay, so let's get back to this. We have two bottom plates here. So why two? Okay, so my original, in this one, I had the twin turbo. That motor is a 463 cubic inch Chevy small block that had twin turbos. Well, before I turboed it, that had a Kinsler injection system in it. So again, it was a big cubic inch small block with naturally aspirated and mechanical injection in it. I'm having that motor put back into mechanical injection with the high compression pistons. And so I'm going to essentially have two super boat-ish engines and bottoms and holes with this thing. So what about a pump? Well, this is actually an 8 3/4 pump, which matches up very good with that 463. So we're going to have two super boats here, and we have all the engines, pumps, and everything else to do that. And that boat is actually going to go up for sale when it's done. It's going to be a spare for me until it sells. I'm not in a rush to sell it, but it is going to be a pretty sweet package. That motor's not going to have quite the horsepower as the 500. That thing is going all out on it, but that, if anybody has watched my old 907, aka the slipper boat in the past, that thing was quick, and that is the engine and essentially the same bottom and everything design that we're going to put back into that super boat. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. Like I said, we're building this up for Chris to be a new 400 boat, building the new 907, and I don't even know what to 907A or B or whatever, the second super boat, and then also doing a new motor and pump that is going to go into Nicole and Tina's 146 boat here. So there is a lot of stuff going on. I thought I'd try to explain it the best I could, just because there is, I got stuff everywhere. I got, so 2 holes here, 1 hole here, and a hole back in here that is getting built here in the off season. And like I said, we're racing this Saturday here in about 3 days down in Ontario, Oregon. It literally, the day that I get back from that, it's time to start welding, and I will post all those. The build process, that's essentially my winter content. We're done racing after this race, so not a lot to post. I'll throw in some older clips and stuff like that and talk some safety stuff, but we are going to shift after this weekend back into a building process, and I'll do some time lapse. I got a tripod and all that kind of stuff. I know people are interested in that, been getting a lot of comments. I do appreciate those, but that's where we're going. Thanks for following, and we'll keep you updated the best I can. Hey, we're going to head down to Ontario and go fast one more time, one more race of the season, and then it's time to get back to building boats.